Becoming a data scientist. This is a great time to learn about data science. You can start your own business as a data scientist, you can start building a career, and you will make a good living. I have already talked about how to get into data science, and it's time to learn how to do it well. This chapter is about practical things you need to do to become a data scientist. It will take some time, but you will get there. When I first started out, I started out by reading all the books on the subject, but I soon realized that many of them were out of date. I now prefer to get my hands dirty with real data. If you want to start a career as a data scientist, it's time to start collecting data. There is more information and tools that are now available to help you gather data than ever, starting with Kaggle for public databases, GitHub for open source code, Reddit for many links and articles you can scrape and reuse. Getting an internship in data science. Of course, you don't have to start a business to become a data scientist. Another natural way is to find an internship. There are plenty of ways to get internships, but the first way is to simply contact a recruitment company. Just search on LinkedIn for recruiters in your area and write to them. They will be often willing to help you. The second way is to seek out companies that want to hire interns and reach out to them to see if you could get an internship. Cold calling really works if you can show your work. GitHub again. Check websites of companies to see whether they are looking for data scientists or ask someone already working in a data science team. The more proactive you are, the better. Start writing about your data science projects on LinkedIn and publish posts on Medium to gain more visibility. The perfect situation is when you're approached by recruiters and are the one to choose. The only way to do it is to put in the work into your open source data science projects and popularize what you're doing. If that's not the way for you, because you simply don't feel comfortable with being so public, which is perfectly fine, just start looking for internships on many job websites and groups. It's an employee market, and if you can show your engagement and passion, you should be able to get an initial call or meeting from a potential employer. First of all, you should build a portfolio of open source projects on GitHub. I recommend to create 3 projects. A classification project where you use a public database. You can download one from Kaggle, more about that in the next paragraph, of images/texts to sort them and hone your skills with supervised/unsupervised learning, from PCA to neural networks, through DBScan, KNN, etc. An NLP project which would analyze sentiments from tweets from a particular subject and classify them accordingly into positive/neutral/negative. That's a classic one. Choose a topic interesting to you, so you have a good story to tell about it. A scraping project, where you scrape different sources to extract information. That can be scraping sports news if you're a sports fans, financial fluctuation if you're into finance, or data science novelties. The end goal might be creating an automated website with scraped and extracted content. Easy to show during a job interview. If you're more advanced, then you definitely should play around with latest machine learning algorithms. For example, you can try GANs, generative adversarial networks, and generated sum faces or cats. Reinforcement learning with easier games. GPT-2 and text generation. You have endless opportunities here. You definitely should show that you're well versed in neural networks and their fundamentals like Keras, PyTorch, TensorFlow. A great resource is Papers with Code, Google it, which links machine learning papers with GitHub code. That's a very efficient way of finding most recent findings in machine learning. Know what you know and what you don't know. Even if that sounds obvious, you should be able to answer questions about your knowledge, particular technicalities or problems. Actually, the most important question you'll be asked is what was the hardest in a given project. If you were struggling with a particular technical issue, why and what it was. How did you overcome it? Those are the basic kind of questions that you should be prepared to answer. Be ready to talk about algorithms in more detail, different methods you have used in the past. Be open and share also what was problematic for you. This can only help during a job interview. The last thing which is often overlooked by data scientists is putting up a coherent LinkedIn profile with explanation of what you did in the past and where you're at currently. If you have any gaps in your career, be sure you'll be asked about them. There's nothing wrong with 6 months stay on Bali surfing. You should just be honest about what motivated you back then and what you wanted to achieve. I imagine that a good argument would be you wanted to have a break from your screen, wanted a restart, wanting to work as a digital nomad. There are plenty of reasons to explain why this option was the best also for your career. You should also ask for recommendations from your past employers. They can write it directly on LinkedIn, just a couple of sentences is enough. If your last departure wasn't really planned and you feel bitter about it, try to explain why and what you expect from your next employer. You should be able to say precisely why you want to change your job. Is it because you're looking for new challenges? If yes, why you can't have them at your current job? Speaking clearly about your previous work experiences is a huge asset. Shine. Summing up, there are 3 things you should do to really master a job interview for a data scientist position. Build a portfolio of GitHub projects. Know what was the hardest part of each of your project and how you overcame it. Polish your LinkedIn profile. I'm a huge fan of building your own portfolio of open source GitHub projects as a way to grow as a data scientist. In the next chapter I am going to discuss a list of projects you can try for yourself if you're into practical data science. Those will definitely get you hired.